In the tranquil village of Meadowfield, nestled between verdant hills and whispering streams, there was a small time-worn church with stained glass windows that painted the insides with multicolored light on sunny mornings. In this village lived Sarah, a young woman with gentle eyes and a kind heart, known to all for her compassion and fervent faith. Sarah made it her morning ritual to visit the church, regardless of the weather or her own circumstances. The villagers often saw her slender figure passing through the streets at dawn, her steps quiet, her face serene, guiding her towards the old wooden doors of the sanctuary. What was lesser known about Sarah was the depth of her prayers, uttered often in the hushed solitudes of morning. On one seemingly ordinary morning, Sarah entered the church as the first light caressed the tops of the hills. She knelt before the altar, her hands clasped tightly together, her eyes closed. There was a particular heaviness in the air that day, as though the very atmosphere anticipated the pouring of her heart in prayer. "Dear Lord," she whispered, her voice a mere breath, "I come to you with a heart full of dreams and fears, intertwined like the vines in the meadows. In this quiet place, where the whispers of those who prayed before me still linger, I seek your guidance." She paused, collecting her thoughts, feeling the silence listen to her intently. "My father, as you know, battles an illness that leeches the strength from his bones. It pains me to see him so diminished, his vibrant spirit shadowed by affliction. I pray for his healing, for the restoration of his health, that he may feel the warmth of life's gentle embrace once more." Teardrops fell silently onto her clasped hands, creating tiny, ephemeral worlds that shimmered in the morning light. "And my dear mother, who labors tirelessly, her face etched with the worries of many sleepless nights. I pray for her resilience. Grant her the strength to shoulder this burden, and the peace to know that she isn't shouldering it alone." As Sarah continued, her prayers widened their embrace. She prayed for the old Mrs. Jenkins, who lived alone at the edge of the village, for the young Millers, who had just welcomed a new soul into the world, and for each of her neighbors, whose troubles and joys she carried within her own heart. Finally, Sarah's voice trembled slightly, emboldened by her own vulnerability. "I pray for myself. Guide me, that I may be a vessel of your love and hope. Instill in me the courage to face each day with the promise of your grace, and the wisdom to understand where I am needed most." As the last words of her prayer drifted away, the church, filled with morning light, seemed to embrace her in warm, silent assent. Sarah rose, her burden somewhat lightened, her heart a little steadier. As she stepped out of the church, the sun had fully risen, bathing Meadowfield in its golden glow. Her spirit, interwoven with the divine assurances of her faith, prepared her for the day ahead, reassured by the timeless covenant of prayer. Thus, the villagers often wondered about the source of Sarah's ceaseless strength and unfailing kindness. Little did they know, it was in her quiet communion at dawn, where she laid down her own pains to plead for others, that she found her boundless resilience and hope. In the whispered sanctum of her prayers, Sarah was both the seeker and the sought, navigating the trials of life with a grace bestowed upon her in those silent, sacred moments.